Yaro did have a question here. I need to know how to set up different content pages. Excellent. So we will definitely be covering that as well. So, all right. So the first thing I want to, where we want to start is we have to, and I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen here. So you're going to have to, you no longer see my beautiful face up there. You're going to have to just look at my command website in the background. So I do have a sample page here to look at. So I'm going to be logging into my teammate Phil's account. Hopefully that's there. So this is going to be step-by-step on how to set up your agent site and some additional pages for that. So the first thing you're going to want to make sure you get done before you even pass go is you are going to need to make sure that your marketing profile is set up. So in the top corner under your profile, there should be a box that says a little gear that is settings. And then under connect settings, you want to make sure that you have you're going to go into your marketing profile. Now this must be complete for your site to function appropriately and correctly, because it's going to pull this information to create that site. So you need to have your photo in there. If you have a team logo, you're going to want to upload that as well. You want to make sure that all of your details are complete and that you have your bio built out, phone number, all that contact information. And then you want to also make sure, this is a requirement as well, that you have a market center or brokerage logo. Now, if you were not familiar with where you can find that information, I did want to show you that as well. So how you can find that is you can go to KW Connect. And if you go to resources, let's go back to my KW. If you go to mykw.com and you go to marketing and you go to logos and branding, you can scroll down here and there are a couple different things you can do. So our market center technically does have a logo package in here. So you can just put in Wilmington, because it still has it as Market Center 472. You can download the Wilmington document, Wilmington logos, or if you didn't want to use specifically Wilmington, because maybe you work in Hampstead or Leland, and God forbid you put a sign up in Leland that says you're from Wilmington, this will just throw everybody for a loop there. So you can actually, instead of downloading the Market Center logos, if you scroll down a little further, you have the primary KW logos are available as well. So you can use a full color, a reverse full color, red and white and solid. So have those logos available as well. So you can scroll down and get to just the informal KW, linear one, whatever you want to use. If you didn't want to use specifically the Market Center logo. So then once you have all that set up, you want to go ahead and hit save. And it's going to say your market profile was successfully saved. From now on, it'll make your work easier. So that will help you when you go set up any designs, any website pages. You want to have that done first. Are there any questions on setting up your marketing profile? All right, hearing none, I will move on then. So once you have your marketing profile set up, to set up your agent site, you're going to scroll over to the left-hand side. These are all your applets within Command. So each one of these basically is its own kind of semi-platform that all intertwine. So the one that we're going to focus on today has been recently renamed. So it used to say Site. It is now called Consumer. So you're going to click on that on the left-hand side, and then you're going to go to Site and App Settings. From there, you're going to click on Learn More with Kelly Guides, and you're going to click on Agent Site, and then hit Continue. That is going to pop up another window for you. That is a step-by-step Kelly guide. So almost all of the applets now within Command have their own Kelly guide for them. You can also do a Kelly guide to set up your consumer app. You can use a Kelly guide to set up your step-by-step guides in the in the KW app. So you can, there's a Kelly guide basically for every one of those. One we're going to focus on today is the agent site. So once you have that pulled up, go ahead and hit get started. And this is going to basically tell you all the stuff that we just set up before. So you have to have the inclusion of the Market Center logo, inclusion of the ownership statement, and compliance. And all of that stuff was set up, is set up in your marketing profile. Go ahead and hit acknowledge and continue. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to enter your subdomain name. So if you wanted to have something that was specific to your team, you can do that. If you want to just make it your name. So little does Phil know, but Phil is going to be philmarshall.kw.com. So once you have your domain, yeah.
I'm so sorry. After we went to the consumer and then went to site apps and settings, what did you hit after that?
You're going to hit learn more with Kelly guides.
Gotcha. Okay, sorry. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. So once you choose that type, you chosen your subdomain, you got to go ahead and hit claim domain. And this will confirm if no one else has that subdomain set up. So once you confirm that, you've claimed your subdomain. The next thing you're going to want to do is make sure your marketing profile information pulled in. So this just saves you having that marketing profile all set up, saves you all of this keying information in here. This is why that was so important to have that all in there. Once you have all of that set up, you're going to go ahead and hit save and continue. And then you're going to choose your style. So we're under the second tab here. So these Kelly guides are great. They literally go step by step, and you can go back if you need to, but it won't let you continue until you've done everything. So the next thing you got to choose, and I'm going to mute everybody here. I have some background noise. If you need to unmute yourself, go ahead and do that. All right. So the next thing you need to do is change your theme. So you want to go with a KW red theme or a dark theme. So we'll just leave it as a default KW red theme. And then the next thing you're going to choose is to change, if you want to change your homepage text. So this is the information that'll show up here. It's going to default to find your dream home, but you can change that to anything you want. The next thing you're going to choose is your hero image. So this is the image that's going to show up behind there when your consumer first log on to the site. So they give you 5 as a default. And what it's going to do is it's going to rotate those so that every time, if you choose to leave all 5 of them on there, it'll rotate every time a consumer goes by. It's going to choose a different photo for them. If you don't want to leave one of those on there, you just delete it. So let's say, you know what, we don't get many of these row houses here in Wilmington like that. So I'm going to delete that there. Once you do that, you get some close that down. You're going to get some options. Once you have those all set up, you go ahead and hit save and continue. So the next thing you're going to want to get done, I'm trying to, I got my chat box up here and I can't get it out of here. All right. Can you guys see the chat box, or is that just on my end? And remember, you have to unmute yourself.
I had mine.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, we can see it.
You can see the one on my screen because it's on my screen.
I can see your screen.
Yes.
Chris,
Yeah.
when we're doing the hero images, are we allowed to put a moving image there, or does it have to just
You
be
can
a
you can upload a short moving image. It's going to considerably slow the site down a lot.
Okay, so not
Yeah,
worth it.
so yeah, it's not. I would not recommend that. I would recommend
Gotcha.
if you wanted to get something that was a little more local. If you got a great picture that's something local, you can
Right.
definitely do that there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Here, I had a quick question about if I wanted to
Shoot.
change my domain name later, how
Mhm.
easy would that be? Would I have to recreate the site, or is it just a simple change of domain?
I think it's a pretty simple change, unless the secondary step to that would be if you have a managed domain on like GoDaddy or something like that,
Right.
you would have to get that out of that. You'd have to change that. You'd have to make sure you change the domain there too.
Okay, great. Thanks.
So, yeah, absolutely. All right, I'm just trying to get this out of the way here. I can't figure out how to do that. Okay. I promise I'll get that out of there. Maybe. Any other questions while I'm trying to figure this out? Without ending the meeting? There we go. All right. When in doubt, just stop sharing your screen. All right. So then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to start customizing your content. So there are going to be 3 main pages that automatically get set up for you. The first is going to be the company profile. The second is going to be your About Me page. And then your third one is going to be like a contact information page. So we'll go step by step on setting all of those up. And then the next step, as you can see, we are in step 3, which is content. So your default navigation, as it says, is going to be these 3 pages. So the first thing you can do is you can change that page title. So it defaults to company profile, but you can change this to, let's just say, our mission. You can change the URL behind that. So if you want to change that to mission, so as you can see here, this is what the domain, the URL slug is going to look like. So this is, we're changing that to philmarshall.kw.com/mission. Now, the next thing you want to set up is your SEO description. So you can type in there what you want to show. So that's what's going to show up from a search engine optimization standpoint. So that's what a web crawler is going to find when they're looking for that. So you can just, we'll just put some sample info in here. And then the next part you're going to do is you're going to set up the content. So this is going to be all of the stuff that shows up in this page. So you're going to scroll down to content, and your intro paragraph is the first thing. So that's what's going to show up in here in this quick description of your business. So as you can see, as soon as I typed that, it started changing over here. So you get a second by second, it's a live update of that. You can also change this picture behind the scene here. So if you want to change what that header looked like, you could do that, and you can just upload a different image there. You can drag and drop, or you can just pull something in. So we'll try to pull something in here. It's going to leave you the constraints of the actual page. Go ahead and set image, and you'll see that updated that profile picture there behind the scenes. Also didn't change, save this. So your headline title, that's what's going to show up over here. You can then change any of these images. So each one of these sections has limitations to what it is. So one of the keynotes that I will add here, and this is just an added thing, no matter what you do here in adding spaces, it just flows as one run-on kind of sentence. So if you wanted to, if you thought you were putting different lines there, one of the current limitations is that it just keeps a free-flowing text there. It doesn't cut, you can't go line by line. So regardless, even though it shows it's on 2 different lines here, it will show up on your website there. So if you wanted to create anything that was in sentence structure like that, or different line structure or bullets or anything like that, that capability is not there as of yet. So let's say you didn't want to have a headline 2 and a footer headline, or you wanted to add more. So once you have all of that kind of stuff set up, so to change this image over here, do the same thing we did before, you would upload a photo there. Let's say heading 2 you didn't want, you wanted to be done with that, or you just didn't have a section for that. You will just go in here and back all of that out and back that out. And then the final part on the company page is going to be your footer. So that's what's going to show up down here. So you're going to do sell your home with me, and then you can enter whatever text you wanted to do on that there. So you're going to go ahead and hit continue. And that's going to show you the next page. So what questions do people have? What question before we move on to the next page? I did see one pull up in the chat box there. Someone want to share that question with the group? Unless I answered it.
I do.
Okay.
Right where you were just typing those different headlines and little descriptions about the business, does Keller Williams have some stuff that we can like snag to put in there?
I haven't seen anywhere, but one of the things I am going to show you as we go through are some sites that are pretty built out that you could probably R&D on and make them your own.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. What I'm not seeing that I saw before is that you could actually delete these here. I'm not seeing that anymore. So, any other questions? Okay, so the second page is your About Me page. So this is what's going to pull in if someone clicks on the About Me page. It's going to show up on a sub menu. Same kind of concept here. Not much customization on this page. So it's just going to be About Me. It does pull in your bio for you. And then you can change whatever you want this to. This doesn't show, your SEO description does not show up anywhere on the site. That is just the behind the scenes information. So you can put all of that in there. If you have any questions on what that is, there's a lot of these boxes do have little help screens on them. So if you hover over that, it shows how this is how it's going to show up in search results. So optimizing this description is a very important aspect for search engines will match keywords. So the goal of the SEO is to, if someone puts in, let's say we're someone is looking for Phil Marshall, it's going to crawl on the web and look for pages that have Phil Marshall in them, and it's going to show up as one of the pages. So once you have all that set up, you're going to go into the content, and a lot of this stuff is, well, it should all pre-populate from your marketing profile. So again, a lot of stuff saved here. But let's say you didn't want to make it about me. We can change that to about Phil. And then if you didn't want to call yourself a real estate broker, which we all are, but maybe you have, you wanted to set up your own page as something else, you could change your title there, to whatever your appropriate title is. You can change the about Philip. You can get that out of there if you didn't want that on there, because we already have about Phil here. You can do some customizing, but it does already pull in that for you. So the goal of that is to make it really quick so you don't have to retype what's already in there. So that's the about me page.
Can the image be changed on that to be different than what's in your bio?
I don't believe so. Well, actually, that's a great question, and I don't think if you can customize that.
Okay.
As I'm seeing here, no, I don't see any customization for that. Now, if you're a team, like for example, for Reach Properties as an example, we don't have about me pages on there. We have a meet the team page, and then each one of those is going to click onto their profile. A little side note with that, if you have a team and someone has not set up their full marketing profile, it will not pull in a blank person in there. So for example, on our team, Elizabeth hasn't set up a full marketing profile, so it doesn't pull her into meet the team page, because it doesn't want just those, the whole goal behind that is so that the consumer can get to know you and the team. So it doesn't want to just have those static images of nobody in there or no profile. So you do have to have that set up for that to work.
Who sets that up as a team page or as a individual page?
What, this page itself or the meet the team page?
Well, to make sure that the website is showing as a team site or an individual agent site, who designates that?
So what we've done, and I'll give you our example of what we've done with Reach Properties. So the Rainmaker is the primary website, and then we have a page on there called Meet the Team, and I can show you how to make that page as well.
Okay, that would be great whenever you get a chance.
Yep, we'll do some of that in the custom pages. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
That's a really easy page to set up too. So once you have all that set up, the last page in the three main pages that it's going to have for you is going to be the Contact Us page. So again, here you can change that to Contact Us, from Contact Us to Contact Me. You can change the slug behind the URL if you want to do that. Scan again your SEO description. And then finally, the content. So not much you can do here with the content except for whatever you want to show up in your message here will show up in this. So you could ask, a simple, are you pre-approved? Whatever you want to put in there to have them answer for you. And then again, this stuff is going to pull in from your marketing profile. You can change this here. So let's say you had an info@reachprop was the main contact that you wanted to have on there. You could do that and it'll change that over there. So it's going to automatically pull in from your profile. You still can do some customization. Let's say you had a team phone. It'll change that on there as well. You'll hit save and continue. So we've now successfully completed our site. So you can see the 3 check marks are there. What's next? So this was set up back in last October was when this officially launched. So you could set this up, I think it was mid-September they had this ready. So once you have that set and you have those 3 pages, your site is ready to go. but you're not done 100% yet. So this was a major little point that was overlooked by a lot of people when sites first started launching. They were like, oh my God, I went through all the steps to set up my site and I can't find anywhere. I go to that website domain and it just goes to an automatic site. So there's one more step that you need to do to get this done. So we're gonna close out of here. Maybe. So once you have that site all set, you need to go back to your settings. And of course it wants to do this right now. Hey, we made it through 35 minutes without any technical glitches. I'd consider that a win, right?
Most definitely.
And my dogs haven't barked yet, so this has been like great so far. Thinking about it, it's almost there. All right, so back under settings, you're gonna go back into connect settings and marketing profile. And this is the key step that was getting overlooked by everybody because they make you go back and do it. So use my information to brand my agent site. You have to check that little box off to move that little dial over to the green there.
I'm sorry, where did you
Now-
go again?
Yeah, so you're gonna go to settings, back into your marketing profile under connect settings. And then you've got to just check this little radio button. It defaults to off. You just got to get it to green to go on. So now, in theory, if this has been set up correctly, it might take a couple minutes. And me spelling it correctly. See how quick it did it. So there is Phil's custom website. So you can see it pulled in the Reach Properties profile. It pulled in the customization of rather than, the default there. It now says find your home by the beach. Under the sub menu that is here, you see that custom page that says rather than our company profile, has our mission, vision, values, about me, contact me. It also pulls in any of your social media profiles that are set up on your marketing profile.
Chris, this is Patrick.
Yes, Patrick.
My toggle switch is clicked to yes and to share my profile information, but when I type in the URL, it is still going to the generic KW site, where you have to log in or sign in.
Where it just says the KW stuff, so where this stuff isn't here, and it just has that. All right, I'm happy to help you one-on-one on that and see if we can figure that out. Maybe after the meeting, I can screen share you. That sounds like that might be above my pay grade, or it might be just a simple toggle on and off a few times. Good old, press the reset button on it. I know that, like, if I were to make a change to our site, I always go back and do that just to be sure that it just checks. So even if I've had it checked, I'll go in, uncheck it, save it, and then go back in and check it, if that makes sense.
It does. And I was thinking about that. I'll do that a couple of times, and if that
Okay.
doesn't correct it, I'll get in touch with you.
Okay. Yeah. So it does say when you do click that button, I might have moved that through a little quickly. It does say it can take up to 15 minutes for the site to refresh. You can see that happened within minutes for us here. So this was that basic page. You can see that background photo that we set up there for a hero photo on this page was taken. And then you can see, because there was that second box of text that we didn't have any info in, it didn't pull that picture in. So So that is that's how you get a basic site, so that if someone wants to type in your name or you want to give them a web address, you have that web address.
Hey, Chris,
That's
I have
part one. Yeah.
under the social media options. Hang on a second.
Mhm.
Sorry, I had a tickle.
No problem.
It has like Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram.
Mhm.
Can we remove the ones that we don't use?
Yep. So you can go, so that pulls in from here. So I'm still in that marketing profile. And if you scroll down here under your social, if you just take those out of here, they won't show up.
Okay, got it.
Does that make sense? Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, excellent. All right, so that's part one in getting your site set up. Any other questions out there? Or what other questions do you have? Okay, now we're on to some more advanced stuff. So that was the basic, getting your profile all set up and getting your website set up. So now to go in and get some custom pages on there, we're gonna go back to consumer, back to consumer over here. So you can see there's nothing set up right there. So there are two different types of pages that we can set up, and we're going to go over both of them. The first one we're going to go up onto is going to be agent site pages. So there's landing pages, and those are kind of standalone. Those don't link back to your site. Those are great for your open house sign in, for your your single property websites, and we'll go over both of those. The first thing is going to be your agent site pages. So as you can see on that, these are the three that we just set up. So we've got the contact us, the about me, and about us page. So to create a new site, we're going to go up here and hit this little plus button that says create a new site. The first thing that's going to come up is where would you like your page displayed? On your agent site or on a standalone page? So for this part of the training, we're going to do on my agent site. Going to go ahead and hit create page. And then the editor thing is going to show up. So the first thing you're going to want to do here is to change your name of the page. Now, I will add that this is not the title of your page. This is just how it's going to show up in that menu for you. So you can go in and change that here. If you forget to edit that and you have all those gobbledygook of letters and numbers there, it's not the end of the world. That's not how it's going to show up on your website. So if you forget, not the end of the world. So once you have that done, you have all of these widgets over here. So these are the default widgets that are currently available for use. So you have your team, your agent profile, contact form, testimonials, carousel, company profile, and testimonials list. For our training today, all the stuff we're going to use are going to be in these 6 widgets. The content blocks and the layout blocks are some more customization that you can do. I'll be honest, I have not had a lot of success using those, and everything that you need to create any of the pages that we're going to work on today can be done using these 6 tools. So these content blocks and these layout blocks, I've worked in several real estate websites behind the scenes and setting them up, and these just are very not user-friendly currently in their current rendition. They're not, they're not what you see is what you get kind of setups. So a lot of these widgets are. So what I wanted to set up as one of the samples, and then I can show you how to set up a team one as well. So one of the ones that we're going to sample for you as like a basic page is a download my app page. There were more. So the first thing you want to do is that you can pull in, if you want to just pull in the header, you can pull in well, that stuff's going to add. So all you need to actually do is pull in the widget. You're going to pull and just drag and drop, download my app over there. And that's going to pull in this nice pre-formatted page for you that just says download my app, get free access to all local homes. That's the only widget you need to pull in, unless you wanted to pull in some other widgets as well. So if you wanted to pull in a contact form, you can do that, and you can just drag and drop, and it's going to show up below that. So now below that is that contact us form. You can drag and drop any of those widgets. And then once you have all of your widgets set up, you're going to go hit configure widgets. Before we do that, I just wanted to show you this little tool over here. So this tool over here is showing you how it's going to display on these different devices. So it's going to default to what it's going to show up and look like on the desktop. If you click on this, it's going to show you what the format is going to look like on a tablet. And then finally, what it's going to show up as on a mobile device. So it is important to make sure if you're doing any, especially if you're doing any custom formatting, that you make sure that it looks good on a mobile device, because we know that's where most of the consumers are starting, is on the mobile. So you want to use that tool over there to make sure. All of these default widgets should show up pretty well on your displays. For that, depending, of course, on what device the consumer on the other end is on. So once you have your widgets all pulled in there, you're going to go ahead and hit configure widgets. Before I do that, though, are there any questions on the widgets and the drag and drop?
Yes, Chris. So I've used these widgets to pretty successfully to do open house landing pages. And as of 3 weeks ago, I have had trouble with the contact form widget. Once they put information here, you'll see when you look at it down here, there's nowhere to hit enter anymore or submit. So they can put in their information, but they can't send it to me.
Okay. And have you noted that? Have you sent that to them? Have you sent that to support?
I haven't heard anything.
Okay.
So what, is there anything you know of to work around that?
Yeah. So what I would do is, and that was one of the pages I'm going to show you, I actually would use the lead form on a standalone page. So we'll show you that if that makes sense.
Okay.
And then if that doesn't answer your question, we'll see if we can figure it out. But I think
I'm sure it will when we get there.
I think that will help you out, because I know
Great.
that works pretty well. So, all right.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yeah. So you just drag all of these in. If you pull in agent profile, you'll see what that looks like too. So that pulls in all of that information from that bio. If you want to take anything out, you just click on the box. It's going to highlight it with a blue line around it, and then you hit delete. If you want to drag and drop and move around, you have that ability again once it's highlighted. You can drag these around and move them back in there. Why it's not letting me do that now? It's like that form's not really there, probably because they don't have any actual testimonials set up on Phil's site. Why I can't delete that image, I do not know. So we're going to go back. I'm just going to recreate that page there. So download my app and then the contact form. So you'll see those two there. So once you have the widget set up the way you want to, you're going to go ahead and configure widgets. So this is where you can customize any of that stuff for you. So you have to choose, so each one of the widgets needs to be configured until these green check marks are checked off. So I'm going to go ahead and click on download my app first. this is where you can customize what shows up here, or what you want for the content. So if you want to change, so you have the get free access to local homes from any mobile device. If you wanted to change that, you know, to get instant access to over 4 million that'll change that when I hit save and apply. If you wanted to change the button text from download app to, let's just say, download now. The button redirect URL, this is going to be what is set up as your KW app URL. So there is no customization on that. So as you'll see, that is a grayed out box. So once you have that all set up the way you want to, go ahead and hit save and apply. And you'll see those changes changed on this page for us. So the rest of these images are not customizable or anything as of yet. Go ahead and hit save and apply, and then forward arrow to the other widget. So you can toggle between all of the widgets that are there that have been set up. So if you wanted to change the contact us, you can go ahead and again, that should pull in all of your information from your marketing profile. Not much you generally have to do from there. Go ahead and hit save changes. Would you like to publish this on your agent site? This will make it visible to others. So go ahead and hit yes. And you'll see that site is now there. You now have to go in here, and you can't do too much here because they have moved this over to the designs tab to now edit that. So once you have that all set up, you're going to go to configure your site. You're going to go to app, site and app settings. And you're going to go to site pages. And you're going to hit add page. And now all the pages that you have available on your site that you've created are now in here. So you would go ahead and hit the download app. That's the page we just created. The next thing you're going to do, so this is where that title, that of the, where if I had forgotten to put any of those pages in there, I could change this here. And this is how it's going to show up on your actual menu. You can change your URL slug. So again, that's what's going to show up after your site domain name / app download. If you want to change your SEO description, now is where you do it. You're going to go ahead and hit save page changes. So it is going to default to it's going to put it on the bottommost, but let's say you wanted to move that around and put that as your first thing on your website. Go ahead and change that, and you'll see that the settings were updated automatically. So to see how this works, which is usually the next recommendation that I do, I would go back out to the consumer, back out to the agent site and refresh it. And if all worked well, now under the sub menu should me to download my app today. You can go ahead and click on that, make sure it works. And it does, it just shows exactly what we had changed there. What questions do you have on creating a standalone page like that? And then I want to show you some other samples as well. No questions? I guess I'm a fantastic instructor then. At least I'll say that. We'll go with that. All right. So we'll leave that page up there because we're probably going to go back to it again.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
So when I just went to my website now, the only thing I have in my menu is guide.
Okay.
So
Probably
everything
not.
else.
It's probably
everything
not
else
your
went
domain
away.
then.
Okay.
It's probably just a default KW site. Does it
Oh,
just
okay.
say KW and?
I
Yeah.
know what I did. I know what I did.
Okay.
Gotcha.
right.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I want to show you a couple pages that we have customized, and I'm going to show you how to customize some of them and some best practices behind them. Does that sound good? All right, so we're going to go back into that same place. So this is where you're going to spend most of your time once you have that foundational core pages set up. I'm going to go ahead and hit create a new site. Oh, before I do that, sorry, I wanted to just show you some of the other custom pages that I've seen. So, and I will send you guys these after as well. So one of the ones and where I got a lot of these ideas from, well, first thing I'll do is I will show you what the Reach Properties website looks like. So this is the one, what did I do to our website? There we go. All right. So we got that hero image. We've customized this to one of our previous listings that we love, just shows that shot. So some of the pages that we have set up is we do have an area neighborhood page. This is one I love and I was going to show you. This does require a fair amount of quote unquote programming to get you there because of some of the current limitations of the website. Is one way that it works really well. But here is that meet the team page that I was telling you about. I can show you how to set this one up really quick for that. So this will pull in everybody who has a profile set up, and that's a real easy page to set up. Another page that we've designed. So we have this page on there called Wilmington Area Neighborhoods that basically creates hyperlinks to your KW search site of all of the houses that are available on there. So Aaliyah, for you, when we were talking, you had mentioned like a link back to like Flex for open houses or something. This is the kind of page that I would envision currently that would work for that. It's not going to work as a lead capture site for you that way, but it would work doing this. So for example, I can go ahead and click on landfall. And that's going to open a neighborhood search page. So it's going to pull in every property that is currently active. You can see that it did all the search work for me. So now it shows, and this is something I absolutely love in here, it shows the average days on market, the average home price. As soon as I clicked on that neighborhood, it shows all of the properties that are there. Now, one of the things that if you've been following any of the social media pages on it, one of the things the consumer is gonna need to do is it's gonna default to kind of all of the properties that are out there. How you can do that. Is in here. Is under for sale. And if you just click that to active, that's going to show the number of actual active properties in there. So that was defaulting to showing some recent solds or pendings that are in there as well. So it doesn't default to for sale. It defaults to kind of everything that's available to them. Does that make sense? And I'm hoping that they're going to change that to show just active properties in the future, because in my opinion, that's one of the things that people complain most about on a Zillow is that they show some properties that are no longer for sale, and we were wanting to show just properties that are for sale. So that's the custom landing page that that you can set up, and for neighborhood watches, and I can show you guys how to do that. Like I said, that is a pretty in-depth page to set up. Is that something is that a custom page that you would like to have set up, or like to have me show you if we have time to go through?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. All right. So we have the landing page for a neighborhood watch. We also have some framed in pages that you can do for a Keller mortgage page. So if you wanted to set up a Keller mortgage page on your website, this is one of the pages that we have set up. So it's, again, it's a workaround type page, and it does the job. So this basically is a company profile page that has custom coding in it from a website programming perspective. So one of the reasons I like this tool, this little page, because it does show, if you set that up, that goes right to your Keller Mortgage app if you're set up as an affiliate with Keller Mortgage. And then under there, this little widget here for a mortgage calculator. So it's a really easy way to embed a mortgage calculator and a link to for them to save money. I'm sure that there will be some more enhancements coming around this. I would love to see a widget that would pull that in, just like the download my app, and this will work right now. So you can see that this will change right on the fly for it. So it'll calculate that total monthly payment pretty quick based on that. You can click on it for amortization schedule. So pretty cool tool to have on your website as well. Some of the other ones that we have is a search area school. So you can add like a little widget that pulls in from, I think we did Great Schools. Yeah, so that's a Great Schools link there. So a lot of great custom pages that can be set up out there. So which one would you like us to set up? Which one would you find the most useful of those?
I'd love to know how to do the Great Schools.
Okay, excellent. I can do that. Anybody else? Is that a consensus one, the Great Schools link? That one doesn't require a ton of programming to get it done, and it will show you kind of the best practices to set that up. So if you want to see a more advanced techniques on that and what we're going to do here, so one of the other sites that I would recommend that you guys check out is john.kw.com. So this is a Keller Williams agent who has a lot of inspiration out there as far as command websites. So this is where I got most of the stuff that I have on there currently. So he has a page on there called Command Training. And that's this page that pulls up. So he has videos on all of these custom pages. So if you get lost in what we've done today, actually he doesn't have the school one on there, but it's the same kind of concept. So he has adding a Keller mortgage page to your site, adding the neighborhood cities page. So I would recommend taking a look at this video. It's about a 12-minute video, I want to say, for that one. And that's, he goes step by step in creating that neighborhood page. So the Great Schools page, let's create that one, since that seems to be the one that I heard first. So we're going to go back into here. We're going to go to create a new site. And again, we're on my agent site, create page. Going to name it. Again, not super important if you forget that to pull in. This is the most important part to pull in. So the easiest to customize widget so far that we have seen is this company profile. So if you remember back, that's the one that we did, the mission, vision, value. That was the kind of the sample one that I used. This is the one that has the most customization and the one that you can put the most coding into. So we're going to go ahead and pull in company profile. And then Our content blocks, we're not going to mess with at all. We're going to go ahead. So that's really all you need, unless you wanted to put that contact form in there as well. Just to have it on every page, you can do that. So once you have that company profile in there, I switched it around on me. Of course I did. I'm going to delete that out of there. Configure widgets. So we're going to change this to search local schools. Your image text, your header image, is where you're going to, you can pull in, like if you went to our site, that's where we have the school bus. So we found a school bus on Canva. That's what we use for a lot of our images. I just typed in school bus and downloaded that. So that way we have rights to use that. So we pulled in the school bus there. Let's see if I can find that actual photo too. So we'll go ahead and edit that. I guess I didn't save it. So you can pull any image in there if you wanted to change that. But we won't change that for today. But what you need to actually do is to change your widgets. So or the text. So the intro text, that is the most important thing. So that, if you go back to our page here for grade schools, that is where you're actually going to put in that widget that you're going to copy from the grade school site. So how you do that is you're going to go to greatschools.org/widget. And you're going to put in, let's just say, you're going to put in Wilmington, North Carolina. Choose the size of your image. So you can, let's just say, leave it as that default of 640 by 500. It's going to ask you a email address just to put that in there. And they want to know that you agree to their services, and it's going to allow you to get the widget code. Going to go ahead and get widget code. And then this is showing you what that's going to look like. So it shows all that information. It then shows a list of the schools. You can search by schools. So you're going to go on that little box there until it's highlighted in blue. And then you can do a couple things here. You can do a select all. And then copy that. So I've copied that whole thing. So I've basically, you want to make sure you copy everything in there, because that's all the coding behind the scenes. That's what makes it work. So you're then going to go back to your page. And this code that you just copied from that website is where you're going to put in the entire thing. You're going to paste that right into that box. So once you've pasted that,
I'm sorry. My question now is, what if we want to do outside of all, like Wilmington into other counties? Can you only do one at a time?
I think you could pull in, one school system at a time. So yeah, you could just embed multiple widgets on the page, or you could set up, my recommendation would probably be to set up 2 different pages or 3 different pages. That would be search New Hanover schools, or search, Pender schools, or whatever other counties you want to do that, and do them as separate pages. And And then, so once you have that, the rest of this stuff you actually want to get rid of. So we're going to take all of that out. You want to make sure that there's no text in there, because whatever shows up in here is going to show up on the page. So once you have that out, you want to delete the page. Oh, yeah, section 1 text you do have to have, that's right. It's the header in section 1 that you have to have. You don't need an image for it. Section 2, you can delete out. And then your footer. Go ahead and hit save and apply. And now you see that widget has formatted nicely on my page. My little text that I had to add there. So you could add whatever text you wanted to put. I just put search area schools. Go ahead and hit save changes. Would you like to publish to an agent site to make it visible to others? Hit yes. And now once you get that there, you're going to configure your site. Now you're going to site and app settings. Site pages. Add page. Search local schools. Go ahead and hit save page changes. And now you've seen that shows up on there. And now you have the ability to move that around where you want it to. Go ahead and hit save changes. Now, if we have done this correct, and I do recommend this step to everybody as well, go back to that site, refresh it. And then see that it's there. Search New Hanover Schools is there with the little widget in there. Search by schools, search. So the tool's working. Once they click on a link, it is going to bring them to the Great Schools website. And so it keeps your window open, but it does open a new window out there. What do you guys think of that tool? What questions do you have? Did I go through that too fast?
Well, for someone who doesn't have any kids, I think that's a pretty great tool, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really great tool to embed in there. And it's so all of those pages that you saw on our website are variations of that. So the key to that is, and you can get that custom HTML coding that needs to go in that that intro text box, and that's how it shows up centered and graphically like that. So how are we doing?
You are recording this, is that right?
I am, yes.
Great.
Like I said, it will probably be obsolete in 2 weeks, and my hope is that they come up with like a standalone Keller mortgage widget, all those kind of things. I would, you know, widgets like this aren't going to be there, but some other ones that I've seen out there If anybody still uses Homekeeper, I've seen some people put Homekeeper pages that look exactly like this one on there. The neighborhood searches, that is a pretty complex one. I will probably actually just defer you to the John Morris site for that, just in the type of programming that one requires. But I did want to at least show you a custom page. So the main key is company profile is that's gonna drive those kind of pages, because it's the most customizable kind of widget out there currently. Any other question on creating some custom pages for your site until we do some standalone pages? Okay. And I'm happy to chat too and after as well, but I do want to make sure I get through the standalone pages. So other cool feature that we have with the site is the ability to create standalone pages. Now, I've used these a lot on social media for that custom page, as an example. I mean, for like a single property website. So same kind of concept there. So we're back at the consumer. If you were to do this on your own, you're going, I mean, just from scratch, you're going to the left-hand side, consumer. And then you're going to go to create a new site. Now this time we're doing it as a standalone page. Go ahead and hit create. So the first one we're going to create here is a single property website, essentially. So you'll see here, so some of the differences that you'll immediately notice is that the widgets are a little different here. So instead of all those company profile, about me, team pages, we've got some different widgets over here. So the one that we're going to start with for this page is going to be your branded header. We're going to pull that in. So as you can see, what that does is that does pull in the KW and your team logo, also your marketing profile headshot. If you wanted to change that, you could. As a team, you can change that information there. And then for the single agent website, you're going to pull in your single property websites. The next thing you're going to want to pull in is your listing. So those are the first two you're going to pull in. And then the third one that I would pull in is going to be your lead form. So we'll pull that over, drag and drop that over here. Once you have those three widgets in there, pull that to the top. We want to move that down. Bear with me here. I dragged and dropped a little too happily. So branded header, pull that in. Listing, pull that in. And then lead form, we want to get on the bottom there. All right, now we got it. All right, so once you have your widgets all set up, you're going to go to configure widgets. And you're going to start with all three of your widgets. So the first one is going to be your branded header. So you do have to put the header text is required. So if you were doing a single property website, I would, for example, pull in the property address. You have 30 characters there. So you could highlight some features on the property if you so desired. this is where you can change that headshot there. So if you wanted to, if you were on a team and wanted to pull in the team logo again, you can change that information here. For an agent, if they wanted to use this as a lead capture form, you can leave your information there. So once that information is all set, you go ahead and everything else should pre-populate again from your marketing profile. You're going to go ahead and hit save and apply. And you're going to move on to the second widget. So we want to pull in the listing information. So for this case, we're going to browse listings. And if you have a single property that you wanted to check out, you can pull that in by doing a search. So there we have 42 Stony Creek Lane. Brittany, are you crying about this too? So this, you just go ahead and select the listing that you want. You go ahead and pull in the most recent one. So this one was the one that we want. So this is our newest listing here. That was the previous sale of it. So go ahead and hit select. And you see it pulled in it automatically pulls in the images for that. So it is going to default to the primary image on it. But let's say your primary image is most likely going to be an exterior photo. You really wanted to have the first photo that they saw be a photo of the kitchen. You could go ahead and do that. Or let's say in the living room, you go ahead and hit that. So as you can see here, we've automatically applied the first image to select the listing. You can select another or choose a custom image to upload a high resolution image. So we went and selected a different picture there. Go ahead and hit save and apply. Maybe. Thinking about it. There we go. So now you can see it pulls in. I have an updated header, my listing text here. It did pull in that image, and it also pulls in all of the information about the property in a really nice user form. It pulls in the remarks there, and then down the bottom has the slideshow of all the photos on it, and then the rest of the features on the property. So it pulls it in right from the MLS. So that's a pretty handy little widget there. And then the last one is that lead form. So you don't have to change too much on this if you didn't want to, and you could if you wanted to. So if you want to just leave interested, let's talk, it's going to ask for first name, last name, email, phone number, and leave a note. If you wanted to change this, go ahead and hit save and apply. So the only thing you can customize on this right now is that text that goes up there. Go ahead and hit save and apply. And you'll see as I scroll down, schedule a private showing today has done that. So go ahead, you have all of your widgets all configured. It will not let you move on unless you've configured all of the widgets. So you're going to go ahead and hit save landing page. Actually, you're going to go ahead and hit publish page. Go ahead and hit publish page. Yes. And now you can see that page is now here. It also will track how many leads have come in off of that form. Now, one of the things I like to do, again, not required, but it's something you can definitely do. You can see it puts this really long, Brittany, you're going to get me in trouble. This really long URL after it. You can go in and change that by hitting change URL. And if you want to just change it to, go ahead and hit create. Now that becomes your custom URL. Again, as we want to test things as much as possible, you're going to go ahead and click on that. And this is the actual website out there in the World Wide Web. So that's that's one of the custom pages or standalone pages that you can set up. What questions do we have?
Hey, Chris, can you do this? Yeah. Excuse me. Can you do multiple listings on this page?
There is another way to pull in multiple listings. I usually use this as I haven't messed around with that, but I did see a video posted on pulling in multiple properties well, you could pull in multiple listings. If you just pulled in the widget multiple times, it would pull in multiple properties. You just have to configure each one.
Would you do this more as, excuse me, to showcase one particular property or?
Yeah,
okay.
I would do this, like, for example, so here's what we could use this for. So now you're gonna go ahead and copy that page. And let's just go as an example to Facebook. This is why I like the custom page, the standalone page as well. So I copied that and go ahead and paste that in. Let's see how quickly it caught up to me. Here we go. It's catching up to me. Thinking about it. It pulled in that image. So you just copy and paste and it pulls in that first image that you chose and then pulls in the property town, the address, and it starts with the remark section there. So it's a real easy, very user-friendly way to share on social media using that, the standalone page. So then if a consumer clicks on that, it doesn't have forced registration behind it, which we know a lot of consumers don't necessarily like. And this works really well if you want to share it socially with just your friend network as well. You know, here's our newest listing. So that's a standalone single property site. What questions do you guys have on that? All right. So one of the other pages I wanted to show you guys how to set up. And Yaro, if you're still on here, this one is for you. This is what we are using at our open houses to capture registrations with some pretty simple forms, and it goes right into command for you.
Thank you.
Do you guys want to see that page?
Yes, please.
All right, excellent. So back to these sites. So we're back in the site, same page. You're going to go to create a new site as a standalone page. Go ahead and hit create. I would pull in branded header and lead form. So if you wanted to customize this for every property, you absolutely could. We're going with, for right now at least, just a single, each agent having their own sign-in sheet, sign-in form online. So we're not pulling in the listing. You certainly could, because what we're doing with this is we're having an iPad or something at the open house and literally giving them the iPad or asking them the 5 questions that it has on it. So once you have those 2 widgets in there, you go ahead and do what we did before. You're going to do configure widgets, branded header, something that you want to put on there, open house sign in, thanks for stopping by. Again, you can edit the image, you can edit that stuff up there, save and apply. And then you're going to go to your second widget, which is going to be your lead form. So this is what we really love on this form. So if you're going to hand this to the consumer or have it on like the counter there and you're going to ask them to sign in themselves, you know, you can customize this to anything you want. What we're using in here. So we have it saying, hey, thanks for coming today. If you're working with an agent, please put their name in the notes section. And then if someone does sign in, let's say you're hosting an open house for Brittany. Brittany, I'm sure, would appreciate the fact that she knew which agents had their buyers come by so that she can follow up with anybody's agents. And then you could potentially work with the buyers who are unrepresented that came through. So this is one of the things that we're using to capture that information. And then my belief is if they're at the open house and they say they're working with an agent and they can't tell you who their agent is, then they're not working with an agent. So if they can't fill out that section for you, my guess is they don't really have an agency agreement. So we use that as our, go ahead and hit publish page. So now you can see we have the open house sign-in sheet. We'll go ahead and change URL. Go ahead and create. And then you can use this at your open house to capture traffic that comes in. So one of the reasons why I love this so much, and I will show you here, is that once it's completed, it flows right into command for you. So there's a simple 5 questions there. So it doesn't go into like how, how long have you been looking? Are you pre-approved? All that kind of stuff. The goal and I'm sure that customization will be here in the future, but right now it's just a generic contact form. So all the questions that anybody really wants to answer anyway, I go ahead and check off I'm not a robot. That's where that send now pops up. Go ahead and hit send. And another thing that I love about this form here, as soon as they hit send, it refreshes and just leaves it back to where it was. So one of the things I've used other sign-in sheets before, like open house sign-in sheets online. And once they hit submit, it would pull up another window. You'd have to go back to that computer, refresh that page to get it back to here. This goes right back to where it was before. So the next person can come in and start signing up. Now, the cool part is now, if I were to go back to Philip's home screen here. And I don't know if you guys have messed around with this as of yet, but this is just a non-agent site training thing, but you can now customize your home page on command. So you can customize your home page, and they actually now have so all the stuff that's bigger boxes has to be on the left. The stuff that's smaller boxes can be on the right. And you can drag and drop around. Go ahead and hit apply. And now you can see John Sample just showed up already in Mr. Phillips' database. So he's in a couple different places. So this is, again, not really agent sites training, but you can click on that, and that's going to bring you right to John Sample's profile. So John Sample shows up in here. He shows up as a lead. You can see that the note is John Smith. So John Sample is working with John Smith as an agent. Once I've identified that back to maybe it's a host of the open house or the listing agent, probably going to go ahead and archive that contact. But let's say he's not working with John Smith and he wants to be followed up, or you want to follow up with him. The next thing you can do from there is to add him to a smart plan, and that will start your smart plan. If you either customize your smart plan to a follow-up action plan, because we all know that is where the money is in that follow-up. It's not just having a great conversation with them at the open house. It's the follow-up that's important. So if you haven't configured your smart plans, but you can go a couple different ways to add that here. So we're going to say add to smart plan. Now my guess is he hasn't set his up yet. So no, he hasn't. So we're going to go, in this case, we're going to go to Phil's smart plans. And if you haven't added the smart plans to your smart plans, you go over here to library. And you'll see one of the ones there is open house follow-up. If you wanted to see what their follow-up steps are, you can go ahead and down arrow that, and that'll show what the actual process that the plan is going to do. If you don't like that follow-up plan, you can edit it and create your own. But for today, we're just going to hit add smart plan. In the future, there will be triggers that manually make this, that automatically make this happen. Right now, it is a manual add. So you go ahead and hit apply. And now, under Mr. Phil Smart Plans, should show up my open house smart plan, follow plan. So we're going to go back home to Phil's home. And we now see John Sample. Go back into that. And you also, I don't know if you guys caught this at all, but it does have the source of that person there. So it came from a KW landing page. I am also sure it will eventually show what KW landing page that was. But a couple different ways you can add that smart plan. So you go in here and add to smart plan. Go ahead and my open house follow-up, hit select. You can choose to start it immediately or on a following date. One thing they recently added, so let's say you wanted to add, you had a great open house, you had one of those awesome open houses that Yara likes to have, and you got 10, 15 people at the open house who registered, you're done, you wanna go back and add everybody to Smart Plan, you can now add, if there were multiple people that I was selecting, there's now a third option, which is to stagger the start of those. So rather than having, let's say you add 37 people to a smart plan, rather than having all of those tasks show up on the same day for you, they now have the ability to stagger those. But for this, we're just going to start immediately. Go ahead and hit confirm. It's going to show you what that follow-up plan is. In this case, the default one is a 21-day follow-up plan. Go ahead and hit confirm. And now Mr. John Sample has been added to that smart plan. Now, if you wanted to archive Mr. John Sample, because he is working with someone, you just go up here and hit archive, and then hit archive again, and it will archive that person once you've communicated that agent information back to the listing agent. So that's creating an open house sign-in sheet. What questions do you have on that? Or Yaro, did that answer that challenge you were having with the other form?
Good, and I just followed you with it and pulled it in, and it has the select, so that's perfect.
Awesome. Even on Echo, I could get most of that. What other questions, comments, concerns?
I like how the leads feed directly into the contacts right away.
Yeah,
from the open house.
And they do show there is a different, if you don't have this widget set up, or if you don't have your homepage set up yet with this recent leads, another way that you could find them, because I know there has been some confusion around this. If you go to your contacts and you hit filters.
Okay.
And you do leads only, go ahead and hit apply. That's going to show you.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
now you can see that Maria here has an agent site connection. So this is from the, so this particular lead is also connected to Phil's, that means that check mark there means they have actually downloaded the app as well.
Oh, okay.
And then you can see that they've actually added, you can see what listings they're looking at too. So that was the crux of what I wanted to cover today. Are there any other things that people had hoped to get accomplished? Aaliyah, if you're still on, I can show you how to do that, that other page as well that you had hoped to identify with the open house link. Because right now the open house is not a sort function on our website. Nothing else? I covered everything? I made everybody's dreams come true. Did I cover these three things at the very least?
Yes.
All right. You guys ready to go launch your pages, right? You got 21 minutes to launch your pages. I expect them all launched. I'm going to go search everybody at 1 o'clock today to make sure they're all up and fully running.
Well, that might be a little bit ambitious, but.
All right. No other questions? If you guys like the content for today, I will, like I said, it will be recorded. I'm actually going to check the questions now that I can try to find the chat to get up. Thanks, Brittany. All right. I didn't see any other crazy questions in there. Oh, one other thing I did want to show you too. So actually, I will go back. We'll change that before we head out of here. If you wanted to step up a little bit on your property pages, another function that is in there, there's another widget that you can add. So say you got a nice property that has a custom video that was set up, or a YouTube video, you can actually scroll down here and embed a video. So you can go ahead, and video is a widget as well. And then you go to configure widgets. And you can do it as either a URL or you can upload a video. So let's say you have the video saved on YouTube somewhere. You can just put in the YouTube code there. Or if you have the raw file of the video, you can upload that. Now, the pause that I would have on uploading a raw video form is it is going to be huge and probably going to slow your site down. So I would highly recommend embedding a YouTube video in there. So you can add that to the website as well, if you want to do a custom property website. You can also do that same thing on the download my app page. If you wanted to put in that super cool music video that they put out there to help promote the app, you can do that. All right. And then you can notice here too, I don't know if you guys saw this at all, as we signed back in here, his open house sheet does now show that one lead has been captured using that form. You notice that there. So that's my story. Any other questions? All right. Well, hearing none, I appreciate you guys' attention and input. And hope you guys got something great out of today's video. If you have any questions and you wanted to address them after, you can feel free to reach out to me at chriscox@reachprop.com, or my direct cell is 401-258-4470. Thanks, guys. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and end the meeting now. Bye-bye. Thank you, guys.